the common theme, especially with clients, was, you know, they're all trying to figure out, okay, how can I use it? What restrictions are placed upon me as a,
Yeah.
an in-house landman or whatever. And then once we understand a capability, like how do I deploy that? How do I get my team to understand that? How do I train my team? And there's a lot of that. It's that knowledge gap that it's just this weird thing. We got a bunch of 15, 20-year landmen trying to embrace and understand this like massive change in technology.
Well, and I think something that most companies probably already recognize is this isn't something you can just avoid. It's kind of like saying Google search. It's becoming Google search is ingrained in everything that we do, right? If I ask you to do your job, I'm assuming you know how to Google something, right? Like if
Yeah.
you can't use Google, we're gonna have a hard time, right?
You could still
But
probably be a field landman
maybe. I mean,
for like another
think about the
week or two.
GPS, like using Google Maps just to GPS, like it's in everything. It's ingrained. It's just second nature.
Yeah.
And it's becoming that way with AI. And if you're not giving an AI policy, if you're not providing AI tools, if you're not providing AI training, they're going and figuring out they're uploading stuff to ChatGPT that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
They're coming up with workarounds and sending emails with AI generated content and all that kind of stuff. And so if you're not actively giving guidance and training and tools and resources and policies, you're
It's
not
the Wild
controlling
West.
anything. It's the Wild
Yeah.
West.
I mean, and then what you end up with is even within your own team or your own organization, you end up with 6 different paths. Somebody hears about something somebody's doing and they start using that, and then it just starts to permeate. And yeah, maybe that's there's a place for that, like that, go forth and
Exploration.
discover,
Yeah.
and explore, and like, what can you do? How can we apply this to our day-to-day workflow or whatever? But you can't just cut people loose and not be cognizant of it, because to your point, I mean, God, what are you going to uncover? What are you going to expose? And then you start to segregate. You're not a unit anymore. You're a bunch of people doing things their own way, and then
Yeah.
that just spirals into a complicated mess. And so we've been living with that. We've at Dudley Land. That's been a big. We had a discovery phase. We've done a lot of trainings, a lot of learnings. Through that, trying to identify who the early adopters are, really work with those people to then start to tackle challenges within the company in a way that's controlled and collaborative and aligned. But at the same time, you can go through this discovery, and then you got to stop and say, well, okay, well, what do my 100 MSAs say about what can I do? Like, what information can I put in AI? And the fact is, most MSAs that I know that Dudley Land works under, and a lot of companies work under, don't say anything about AI. There's a cyber policy, there's confidentiality, there's all those things, but there's no certainty as to the use of AI, as to like what's actually being confidential if I'm taking that and uploading it. So AI policies come into play. I mean, I'm working on that this week, and we were talking about it earlier. Like, it's a red, yellow, green is kind of the simplest thing to
Yeah.
digest. But, if you're going to put that out to a company, and red's pretty easy, right? Okay, don't upload social security numbers, like the basics,
Right.
Green's pretty straightforward. Yeah, help it QC a letter you're drafting or an email, or help recollect information from a meeting that you transcribed and summarize things. Like, that's easy. It's the yellow that's like, well, I don't know. It's the in between where you're telling your team to seek guidance, but then what guidance do you give them? Can I
Yeah. It's
upload
almost
an
like
ownership report?
you just have to basically define, you need the red, yellow, green, but you also need a gray. And you need to say, hey, like, this
Brown.
is a gray area.
This
Brown.
is brown.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can seek guidance, but I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know who
know,
you're getting it
bro.
from. Yeah. I can't guide you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. I think you have to come up with a policy, and it's even things like, hey, internal communication is different than I would personally. I think client communication and the drafting the email stuff, that's yellow. And it's sometimes even red. You do not put something into ChatGPT, copy and paste it, and send it to the client. No, because
Yeah.
the amount of hallucinations, the amount of like wrong context and things that it just doesn't get right, and misspelling of a name or an entity because it doesn't know, like it happens.
Especially if you haven't done the work, like setting the foundation for, whatever platform you're using. Like, this is who I am. This is my role. This is my profession. This is the context of the conversation. Like, a lot of people don't really understand how much groundwork you need to do to be
Oh
able to
man.
get the value out of, whatever platform you're using to help with that. And I can see it, you were a big part in helping us with establishing like some baseline definitions and skills and those things, right? And I can see every day it gets better. I can see model to model how it reflects back better
Oh, for sure.
on who we are and what we've done, and then that context that it builds over time.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, the whole copy and paste into an email, that's no good.
But you have to
It's
provide that guidance as a leader and as an organization of like, hey, you can't just do that. If we start seeing emails go out that are AI slop, where like that's cause for termination because that's your reputation. When you're dealing with a
yeah,
client, and nothing's worse. It's sometimes it's not even the spelling errors, Brent. Nothing's worse than someone sending this massive document that is a bunch of fluff. And it's thorough, it's really cool, but the person didn't even read it before they sent it. And it's like,
yeah,
I'm not reading emails for leisure because I enjoy seeing fluff and going through. I want high signals. I want to know what's the decision we're making
cut to the
and why are
chase.
we making
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah,
And
exactly.
when people copy and paste stuff, they ignore that all the time. And it just, what ends up happening is they take that long response. They say, hey, what did he say? They put it into AI. They say, hey, tell me the main point here. Cause
And you got
I'm not going to read that email.
hallucination. You got to
Yeah.
hallucinate on a hallucinate.
Yeah. It's nuts.
It is, man. It's there's a lot there. It's like we talk about all the time. It's the hammer. Who's the best with using the hammer? It's a
Yeah.
tool. You got to
Yeah.
recognize that, and you got to make sure that it doesn't replace your identity and your skill set and who you are, especially in the land profession. I mean, this is a relationship and a reputation business,
Hmm.
and I don't think that's going to go away. I don't just don't think it ever will. Some of the work will go away, but man, especially on the vendor service side, the trust and the repeat business and the growth and your opportunities you're going to have are built on that reputation and your ability to articulate the situation, to give guidance, to push back, right? And
Hmm.
man, if you outsource that, well, then that's not you anymore. And it doesn't sound genuine, and they don't really get the feel for who you are. And
Yeah.
you're not going to build that connection.